right here. How many bones are in there? Anybody know? 32. Anybody else? I don't know, but I do know that it's at least a handful. Come on. We're talking about dads today. We're going to talk about fathers and all the definitions that go along with it. And I thought, what a better way to start it than with a dad joke. Right? So, back on January 11th, Stephen sent out a message. He'll do this about twice a year and say, hey, guys, send a group of guys and says, hey, I'd like you guys to jump in the rotation for speaking. Do any of these topics look good to you? And one jumped out to me, which was today. And man, that was hope where you at. I can't believe he got up to speak about lives in front of everybody. He did a good job. He did an excellent job. Excellent job. So thank you for that, man. Those that work today. And while we're talking about that, pray for those guys that are recovering. It's going to be a couple of years worth of rebuild effort, restart, dual operating positions, and so on and so forth. So we pray that they stay safe. They do a good job. But hope you know you've done a great example of that. So thank you. I appreciate you. And we're watching you. So the father warrior jumped out at me for a multitude of reasons, and I'm going to go through some of those. I'm speeding through the stages of parenthood right now. And those of you know, when your children go from high school to college, things go rapidly fast. You think they're fast when they're little, they're not. They're rapidly fast. Some of these are some of my personal experiences today. Memory story. I apologize. And we're going to discuss phases of fatherhood as we walk through this. But let's start off like this. I'm going to start for the prayer, and we're going to discuss the definition of what a father is. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning, God, and we pray, God, that you give us a word. Speak through me this morning, get me out of the way, and you use me as a vessel this morning to deliver the word that you give me. God, I pray, Lord, right now that the men here that hear this, that they apply it, that they do something with it. Just a step this morning. That's what I want to present what you do in your precious and honor. Amen. So, with that, what is a father? What is a father? Somebody give me a definition. What's a father? I'm going to start as far away as I can. We're going to go down to where I'm going to narrow this down, and I'm serious. I'm probably going to be speaking to about 15 or 20 of you in this room. That's it. Everybody else is here, you're ready. You can listen and support what we're about to do, what we're about to say. I'm being exclusionary guests, and we're reading, and we'll discuss that too. So, a father is an author of anything. What I mean by that is like the father of forestry, the father of biology. Who's the father of forestry? Who's the father of biology? Father of forestry is Griffith Pinchot. I know that. That's Stephen F. Hawking. You have to know that. Father of biology is Aristotle. The founder of our country, the founder of any country, could be the founding father, George Washington. What about your ancestors? What do we call ancestors? Forefathers, right? Those that came before us. Today we're going to narrow it down to kind of what Hope just said. Name of the children. A male parent. I'm going to focus this down even more. What we are not talking about. We're not talking about husbands. We are not talking about an uncle, grandpa, a distant dad, an estranged father, single moms, none of that. That's not what we're talking about today. We're going to get really focused today. What I am talking about is a father as it relates to a born-again Christian man. So I'm narrowing this point. Talking about a born-again Christian man that has biological or stepchildren or the potential to have biological or stepchildren. Let's narrow this down even more. That are hearing my voice. Let's narrow down this even more. That have or could have children that they are in charge of to raise and become productive members of society after being spiritually formed in your home. So if you watch that, I'm narrowing it down to about 15 or 20 of you. There may be a few more, but that's who I'm picking this morning. And so if I'm making eye contact with you this morning, it's because I'm talking to you. Not because I'm just scanning across. No, this is exclusionary and it's exclusive. It's done on purpose. Whenever this came to you and it jumped out as the topic for today, God speaks to you in two ways when He asks you to speak out in front of this. He'll give you one line, and I do this. This is it. Or He says, here's a dump truck over, and He backs up and dumps it, and expects me to push through it. He does it on purpose with a powerful known, not on purpose. He did that with this one. I had people that don't even know that I'm speaking about this today sending me stuff. Like, what? And I keep getting these rumors. You see him send me last week. He was like, hey, man, I don't know where you're on this, but here's another one. And so I have 6 Sundays with this that I've tried to condense into one. I'm not going to go long, but I've had to cut back off of here and nail this down, just like I nailed it down to you guys. The reason I'm going to let that down is because that's what God did with these people. These are the people I want you to talk to this morning. So here it comes. Some of you did not have an example at all, and some of you have really bad examples. Okay? I'm not talking about that this morning. We're talking about where you are right now, moving from today forward. Nothing we can do about the past. Let's move forward. So if you're one of those who is left after all this talking, I'm talking to you. Some of you. I'm talking about the umbrella that was created. Now, I know you've all seen the diagram that has an umbrella, and his dad is the big umbrella, his mom is the smaller umbrella, and his all the little kids' umbrella. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what we're going to walk through this morning. So those of you who are in here that are a father, you are a dad. When did you realize you were a father? I'm not talking about conception. I'm not talking about legality. I mean the moment you realized that this was really what you're about to have to do. You remember that moment? I'll share mine. We came home from the hospital. You're crazy. The first book is always crazy. There's stuff all over. Nobody knows what to do. Right? And so they give you this baby and send you home, and everybody leaves, and you're by yourself. And you do what am I supposed to do? So I'm holding Riley, headed down the hall. I'm holding him up, and I had that moment where that baby was straight through you, and you do that. This is the rest of my life. What do I do? I'm responsible for this problem. That was my moment. That was the moment where I realized I'm a dad. Like, for real, this is it. I really know it was about a man who something was very programmatic in the way that he did all the things as a father and got ready and so on and so forth, and came home with the new year, had everything ready, his wife had taken off to work, all was great and wonderful, and then he went back to work, he was getting back into his routine, and he had to go to HR, and he had to change his family status. And on the father, on the paper, it said, relationship with a new patient to employee. And he said, when I checked it, I did that. Wait a minute. So we all have those stories. So what are you supposed to do? How should you act? Where do you turn to find out? Because obviously there's no instruction. So one of the problems that we have as dads, as fathers, is that we latch on to one characteristic of father, and we don't let it go. So I'm going to warn you before we start, if you're doing that, change it. And the buddies that you have that do this, tell them they're wrong, and they need to change it as well. What is the one characteristic that you can think of as a father that people grasp onto? I am the provider. I'm a provider. I make sure my kids have clothes. I make sure my kids have food. I make sure I work 72,000 hours a week to make sure that X, Y, and Z. Guess what? There's a balance there that you're missing. So the first scripture we're going to put on the board back here is 1 Timothy 5:8. It says, a man who does not provide for his family has denied his faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Please remember this morning I'm talking to believers. Why does it say worse than an unbeliever? An unbeliever is someone who doesn't follow God. They're not following this model. Their life is headed to hell, is what I'm saying. It's worse than that. You're not fighting for your family, it's worse than that. Now, flip side, this is the guy most of you know. I provide for my family, We go over to Proverbs 23:4-5. Do not worry yourself out to get rich. Do not trust your own cleverness. Cast a glance at riches about God. How many of you have done extra and made extra, and as soon as you hit the bonus, you get a bonus. The bonus is spent before you even get to the bank. Right? We all know those things. We all know how that works. So that balance is somewhere in the middle. It's not the guy that sits home and lives off the government. It's not the guy that's never home because all he does is work. It's the guy that's in the middle. That puts in hard work. He does a good job. He comes home and his presence is his present to his family. To be there. Got to be there. So, characteristics or duties of a dad. Young children see a dad as a provider, as a protector, and first line of defense against the world. So, let's take the time with baby at home. As a dad, you have to make sure that those things make sure they have shelter, they have food, they have clothes, they have all the things that a baby needs. Newsflash, that does not mean 3 different high chairs with 3 different questions and 3 different strollers. Right? After the first one, you don't need all that stuff. You just carry it like this. We're talking about a baby at home. Here's the next piece that dads forget too. You don't step from one phase of fatherhood into the next phase of fatherhood and leave this one behind. It's additive. So if you're a protector, a provider, and first line of defense for your baby, guess what you are for the future? You're also a provider, a protector, a first line of defense, and you start becoming a teacher and a guide for that child. You provide boundaries and punishments because kids like to push the limit. Right? They need to know where their boundaries are. I know your kids don't. I'm talking about the kids who don't go to church here. I'm talking about other kids. Everybody goes through the gate. Right? Like the screaming in the back. All the while, Dad is still what he was before. Now he has new jobs, new duties to go in with him. Further along, you get into the teen and young adult stage. And at this point, you become more of a calling the plays from the sideline coach. You're not on the field anymore. You're on the sideline. You're calling plays. And you see your children start making decisions. What you suggested. You see them making friendships. You see them driving out this pathway. That's a tough one. Yeah. Everybody got kids that are just now driving. That's a tough one to watch them drive off. Personally. Right? Believe it or not, I'm speaking to all of you teenagers. We want you to do whatever you want to do. We do. We want you to be able to go out and do what you can. But, believe it or not, you don't know everything. And we as parents, it is our job as dads, in particular, when we're talking about this, is to make sure that you're safe. You're still your protector. So, you're still your provider. But, that comes with caveat, that comes with boundaries. Okay. Put it simply, let's use a sports analogy. I kind of used it a little bit already. When you started off with your boy, okay, when they were little, you got a little ball, you're moving them, you're rolling it back into it. Right? And you throw it back and forth, and then you break the lamp, and mom says you go outside. You go outside and start playing catch. And they say, I want to play baseball. Right? I want to play basketball. Or I want to be a football team. So, then you start going to what's like a coach pitch, right? Coach is on the field, he's making sure that they're running to the right base, they're doing what they're supposed to, coach can get in the middle and protect the kids, and then eventually you get to Little League. And in Little League, the coach is on the sidelines, and one's in the dugout. Common play. Then eventually you get all the way to the sideline, high school football game, NFL, think of something like that. You're on the sideline, coach isn't allowed on the field, and there's a lot of liberty that happens on the field. Those kids on that field make decisions about what's happening. And eventually, you're in the stand. And you're not making all of them. You're a big baby. Um, so that's why this is empty. Minister. In my head, I'm still 20. Right? God, we don't say that. Right? We look in the mirror like we're supposed to be too. You know, even though we ain't nowhere near 20. Right? Lying on his stand. He's off. He's gone. And then walking to the stand. He's off. Anyway, so that, yeah, we're about 20 years old in our head still. So when we get out there and we play kickball in the yard, or we play volleyball, something stupid, and we wake up the next morning and can't walk, and the kids are laughing at us. Because we're not going to anymore. We think we are. So one of the other phases of fatherhood is physical to mental. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. Those kids are born, you've got 2 or 3 of them running around house screaming like crazy maniacs. It is exciting. It is exhausting. You're up at all hours of the night. You're running around like crazy. You've got doctor's appointments, and both parents work, and people are scattered all over the place, and driving everywhere. It becomes absolutely exhausting. And then somewhere around that 12 to 13-year-old phase, middle school happens, and middle school kids become mentally exhausted. Right? Mentally, preschool, yeah. Middle school kids are mentally exhausting, and that's the way it lasts the rest of your life. Is that there's this exhaustion that goes along from physical when they're little to mental when they're older, because you're worried about things like the drama at school. You're worried about where are they going? What are they doing? What are the decisions they're making? What are their friends, their grades, their sports, their spiritual growth? What's happening in church with your kids? What are they doing? What are they doing in their brains with it? What are they doing to set themselves up for later? Because guess what? You're getting closer and closer to the stand at this point, right? So dads, speaking to you specifically, that is your job. Is to make sure that your family stands in that direction. But we are promised in Proverbs 22:6 that if you train the child in the way that he should go, when they are old, they will not turn from it. Boy, there is a giant gap from training up a child until they are 30. That middle section out there can be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, or 40 years. Just being honest. That is a huge gap. And I don't know what dictates that gap. That's something from God. Decisions that are made by the child themselves and so on and so forth. There's lots to be said in that gap when they are old. What does that mean? Some people are old when they're 20. Right? They make good decisions. They keep on going about their business. Some people don't become old until they're 40. And they finally get to a point where, hey, I'm back on point, so this is what we're going to be. So moms and dads, that's where we're pointing. Dads in particular, that's what you're pointing for. Trying up in the way that they should go. Are you training them up in the way that they should go? We're going to walk through one of the coolest things I've ever seen as far as a definition, a description of what you should do as a dad biblically. Last progression I'm going to talk about before we jump into that. The 4 names that you have as a man when your children are growing up. Dada. Daddy. Dad. Father. And then some sort of grandparent on the top. That's what my dad's called. Okay? So it's a 6th add-on in there. Sometimes we go backwards depending on the age of the situation. Sometimes we go back to daddy. A lot of times you just stick with where you are. Dada is usually the first word that comes out of the kid's mouth. But dada today, we're talking about. Dada played peekaboo with the child. Daddy. Daddy picked a boo-boo. Daddy had the singing instrument. Dad gave you money to go to bed. That's not the student who's with you in the world. Father provided 40 years to a company to support his family. Father walked you down the line. Sometimes you go backwards and from where you are. So all of those phases, Dad, who's guiding you? Who are you looking to provide your family with the guidance that they need? Because I can dare to say, we don't do it right. I'm just as guilty as anybody. We're not doing it right. Are you looking for guidance? Or do you just hope what happens is supposed to happen like this? Are you allowing yourself to be led inaccurately? And what I mean by that is, are you surrounding yourself with the right people? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Are you even leading? Have you moved over and let your wife take over? It happens. We say yes to it. You're right here. We move out of the way. And I'm not talking about totalitarianism and making everybody in your house do what you told right now. Right? Although sometimes that would be nice for you. But get moving. So even if you have an excellent earthly father, or you know a guy that is a real good dad or a real good father, they're just that. Just like you are. Okay? So whenever you take advice, when you take guidance for stuff like that, you got to do it like when you eat ribs. When you eat ribs, you chew the meat up, and you spit out the bones, and you digest that meat. You take that advice and that good stuff, and you use it, and you spit out the bones because that's all. They may be giving you advice that's no good. That discernment that comes from following the Holy Spirit and walking in God's will help you do it. But before you do all of that, where should you look? You should turn first. This is an interesting code that I've never thought about before, and this is not mine. I plagiarized like you wouldn't believe in a couple of things. Because this is really good, in my opinion. Everybody knows what the Lord's Prayer is, right? Can we say it? Our Father. I was separating the Catholics from the bunch. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. That's funny. So who does Christ look to? Who does he say? Who's he looking to? He's looking to God, the Father. God the Father. Who's looking to? Who does he pray to? God the Father. What was this prayer for? The disciples wanted to know how to pray. This is an example of what they were supposed to do daily, is to pray, right? And I've never looked at this being a guide to Father before. And it's broken down. It's so good. It's broken down exactly how you as a father should lead your family. If you as a father did these things for your children as you ask the Father, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? Look at the umbrella. Kids, mom, dad, son. No. That's what this is. This is an upward mobility of care. That's exactly what this is saying. So you, as God's children, Dad, I'm asking your Father to provide them for them. Why are we doing this? And I thought this was so interesting. So God, if I'm supposed to look to Christ, and my kids are supposed to look to me, then I'm supposed to be calling them in that same direction. Right? I thought this was an unbelievable epiphany. Maybe I've done it. Maybe I've been, I just never thought before. I thought it was wonderful. So Matthew 9:9. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That simple phrase says that Father's name is honored with. So you as a father carry honor. You as a father carry authority and respect. Your name is honored. And I'm not comparing you to God, but that's that. My point is, this is the progression we're supposed to take. Our kids are supposed to see us point to God. We're supposed to point our kids to Christ so we can protect them to God. This is an upward progression. Verse 10. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So what in the world does that mean to to you as a father. That God has a plan and a will. His will be done on earth. He has a will for your life and for your family. My Stephen's family, your family. We're going to come back to that comparison in a little bit. He set a plan in motion for your children, for you to guide. Not another man, not a preacher, not a youth pastor. You, as a father. I hope this hits heavy. I hope this gets heavy on you, and you realize the seriousness of looking at life. So this kind of hit me a little bit. Number 11, verse 11. Give us this day our daily bread. This is the one men grab onto. What are you supposed to do for your kids? Give us today our daily bread. That's the provider. That's the piece that you're supposed to be for your children. God expects you to provide. Right? He expects you to do those things. He will sustain you. He knows your battles are tough, but He expects you to take care of it. Just like it says in Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He's not giving you something you can't handle. As a matter of fact, a last livelihood is lucky. Right? You want to have kids and raise a family. And then it comes along and you do, I'm out. Or you just sit in the background and let the family raise themselves. That's not at all what God's will calls for. Let's go to this book. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I could talk to you all day because this is tough. Because, boy, do you get trespasses. Right? What I mean by that is people are in your debt and people are doing wrong. And when I say people, I mean kids. Right? But turn around and you're looking at your kids and what they're doing wrong. Turn around and look above you and think of what you've done wrong. Think about the forgiveness that you're expecting, but you're not willing to hand out. Right? So, Father, forgive. Be patient. That is not one of my strengths. You know, I said, I do not have any patience. And I expect it to be done. I expect it to be done. So be patient. Be loving and be kind. Forgive. But a lot of men can't forgive themselves. They beat themselves up. And then they go down the self-pity road that they don't even know that it's self-pity at the time. They start walking down this road of selfishness through addiction. And I'm not just talking about alcohol. I'm talking about time. What are you doing with your time away from your family? It's an addiction of selfishness. We come back to that. Number 13. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Another one I could spend all day on. Lead us not into temptation. What are you doing that is allowing your kids to be tempted? Okay? What are you doing? What are you doing to keep them from that? That house that they probably shouldn't go to. Maybe you should keep them from going over there. Lord, I hate it. But make your house better. Take it from here. You're not going there. They're coming here. Dad, they're coming from you. Right? So we ask Mom, and what Mom say sometimes? It's hard sometimes to say no. As a father, it's hard sometimes to say no because you want your kids to be able to do whatever they want. Number one job, protector and provider. Are you protecting your children from the evil one? Because better than Savior. If you don't protect your kids, and if you don't guide your kids, somebody else will. And you don't want that to happen. So if you can imagine how much you actually love your kids and you want good for your kids, imagine how much Christ wants that for you and how much He wants that for your kids. So those of you who are grandparents and grandkids, and how much you love your grandkids, just imagine what God has for your grandkids, for your great-great-grandkids, so on and so forth. So imagine that love and that protection. You want everything good for them, but you know it's bad for them. So please. To deliver us from the evil one means protect us from the evil one. One of our biggest roles, like I said, is to protect our family. Again, sometimes the answer is no. And we don't like to give it, but sometimes it is. A lot of times it has nothing to do with the child. A lot of times it has to do with everything that happens outside of the four walls of your house. I'm going to take a sidebar real quick to make sure that you understand that at your house, when you pray, you should be consecrating your home. One of the things Stephen does every Sunday here before we start is consecrate this place. So what's going to happen is that God's word can be spoken here and absorbed here. And anything that's here that shouldn't be here is gone. Do it with your home. Do it with your home. Do it for your kids. Do it for your wife, your family. It's just a wonderful thing to do. Consecrate your house to make sure that nothing stays in there that shouldn't be there. Because it comes in. It gets brought in. Make sure it doesn't stay there. This is not a popular topic. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Physical violence. We say that word and we immediately go, no. Hold up just a minute. I'm not telling you to go out and be physically violent, but part of the deliver from the evil one sometimes means that you have to be capable. Okay? Jordan Peterson, you can't everybody watch this one. He's walked the line of Christianity for years. He's an extremely intelligent person. His intelligence stands in the way of becoming a Christian. And I say that in the nicest way possible. But the man understands. He understands what it means to be a Christian. And one of the things that he tells Christian men all the time is that men should be capable of violence, but they need to learn how not to use it. Capable, but don't. We must have the capacity as men for danger, but the capacity to control it. Okay? A lot of times we just back down completely and let ourselves get run flat over. That's not what we were called to do. You're supposed to protect your family. This is the Joe Rogan quote. It's built off an old Chinese saying, but it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And I feel like a lot of times that society expects men to be gardeners in a war. They're just supposed to be these weaklings over in the corner tending to the yard, literally, and not worrying about the things that are going on in our house that we can stand up and being a warrior for. So that's why I wanted to the title for today is warrior. That is your number one protector, provider. That's your number one job, is to be that warrior. We don't look at that. America doesn't have our job that way. So, it comes down to this. What is your ultimate goal as a dad? It's broken down into a couple of pieces. Turn your focus to your children. Okay. Put your focus on your children. The love that they will feel from you will help them understand the Heavenly Father's love for them. If you follow the model, the angel model, if you follow that, then your children will understand how much God loves them by how much you love them. And how one day, guess where they're going to be? Hopefully, not in your house. They're going to have their own place. Are you a good example? Are you rooting for their improvement and spiritual growth and not their acceptance? Because we're a society that turns to where we want our kids to accept us as friends. You're supposed to be growing kids spiritually. You're supposed to be growing them to improve their life. Get out and become successful members of society, and even bigger than that, just like about it. That's sacrifice. This is a tough one. There's men that have given up all kinds of personal convictions and personal hobbies, I should say. Boats, cars, time. Maybe that's your problem right now, though, is that you're not living at those things to be present for your kids. I want to make sure that you also understand, ladies, that you need to recognize this. Because one of the things that we're taught as young boys is get out there and get it. Get it. Work those extra hours so you can afford the toys, and afford the things, and the go-do's, and the so on and so forth. And then go do it. Get out there. And so that's where you're young days, you're hitting it hard, doing all the toys and all the things. And then a family comes along, and you have to make the decision as a man. What am I going to put behind you? And that's a tough thing to do. Because that's something you've been taught all life. And then all of a sudden, your selling the four-wheelers, you're selling the side-by-side, you're giving up the deer lease, whatever the case may be, because the family comes first. Number one, the family comes first. Ladies, acknowledge it. Appreciate it. Because it could be gone. It could be gone to them. This will eventually help you understand through that sacrifice what God meant for you. He gave us, right? If we follow these things, it is to help our children springboard their household one day into a Christ-centered home with the home of God. To make sure that their kids are safe and good ways and stuff with you, God. You're the one that is in charge of all of this. Bring it back all the way to the Great Commission. The Great Commission says that you were to go out into the world and make disciples. Your biggest disciple field as a father is underneath your roof. And if you can't do it underneath your roof, what makes you think you can do it anywhere else? What's really good with you 24/7? So make sure that you're out there, you're doing that from your home. And we're not perfect. You're not going to be perfect at it. Believe me, we're not going to be perfect at it. But you've got to get out there and try. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Like I said earlier, characteristics of dad is attitude. So I'm going to share a list with you of some of the things that you, the father, have as characters. This is not a complete list, obviously. But none of these go away until you hit the grave. These things don't go away until you hit the grave. Provider, protector, teacher, spiritual guide. Now, I'm not saying that dad has to know more Bible verses than mom. Because sometimes mom has more involvement in Bible studies and so on and so forth because she has more time. But my point is, if you're living in a household where mom can stay home to raise the children, and she has ladies that make a Bible study, so on and so forth, that's what I'm talking about. Don't come at dad just because he's being a provider and doesn't able to go to as many Bible studies as you are. Okay? My point is, he's supposed to be the spiritual guide. Trainer, restrainer, rebuker. Sometimes you got to rebuke the devil from your house and your kids. Get around. And encourager. Super important. Preacher in your own home. Counselor. Okay. Can your kids count on you? Do they know when stuff hits the fan, they can talk to you? It's important. Lover. Super important. Lover. Peacemaker. That word is kind of hard because peacemaker sounds like something that would be nice and calm. You ever try to make peace? Making peace is not easy, quiet, or any of the above, right? Making peace is sometimes, you got to make peace. And then the next job after you make peace is to keep the peace, be the peacekeeper, the role model. Your kids watch everything you do. They listen to every word you say. They watch every action you take. They hear the things you say about people that are friends of the family or not friends of the family. They hear all of that. They're all things. So are you being a good role model? Are you a truth teller? Do you sugarcoat stuff to your kids to protect them? Aren't you telling them the truth? You got to tell them the truth. What comes a point in time, right? When they're little, they can't know because they don't understand. There comes a time in their teenage years where you got to just take the glove off and go, look, here's what's happening. The reason you can't go over there is because their mother makes horrible decisions. There's not a dad in the house when this happens. Or dad's there and you're not going around him. Period. You have to take the glove off and you have to be a truth teller. Grace giver. Apologize. Apologize, Dad. Sometimes you have to do that. Legacy leader. What are you leaving behind? When you're dead and gone, and all your money is spent, and all of your things really rust, fade, burn, and are gone, what is left after you? Think about it. Mentor. There are young men and young ladies that don't have fathers. How are you helping? Serving. Ooh, that's a tough one. Leading by example, serving. And those people that have a flat tire on the side of the road, And you act like you don't want to see him, just keep going. Those kids are looking out the window going, "Damn, I ain't stop it." Think about it. Later in life, you get to become a friend. Are you a friend to your favorite kid? Lastly, warrior. Most important, like we talked about earlier, be a warrior for your family. You have to protect them behind you. You protect them. So where are you going, guys? Before we get into anything else, the dads that I'm talking to is only going to believe in Christ. Maybe you're not that. Maybe that's where you need to start. Maybe you need to have that personal relationship with Christ. And I'm not going to stop right now and say, "You got to come up here and do it." My point is, find somebody. Me and Steve and Mike, anybody in here that is a Christian man, go to them and say, "I got to start. I got to start. I have it. I have to give my life to Christ. Start there." Other dads that are Christians, you're killing it every day, no problem. Or they're not. Are you trying? It's important. But like you were saying, there is no problem for you to do it. Are you feeling lonely, depressed, and inadequate? I'll come back to that one. So pick up your sword and get your butt off in the fight. Get back out there and know what you have to do. Because if you don't get up and you don't fight for your family, like I said earlier, somebody else will. The devil's going to send chaos. He's going to send drugs. He's going to send alcohol. He's going to send money. He's going to send another man to take care of what you're not taking care of. Watch back, guys. Stay diligent. It comes like a thief in the night. You're not even see coming. Bam. All of a sudden, here's what happens. Get busy. Get back out there. As a Christian man, if you're feeling depressed, inadequate, lonely, stop. Stop. And what do I mean by that? That's selfish. And I'm not trying to be ugly right now, but please hear me. Cut it out. No one's coming to save you. Turn your eyes up. Nobody's coming to save you. The government's not coming to save you. Counselors not coming to save you. Look up. Look around you. Who's around you? Do you surround yourself with guys that are helping you? Who are softening you as a man? Don't waste the therapist time. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So do it. Get yourself up and do it. Stop wasting people's time. Stop wasting your family's time. Stop running things in the ground and do it. Get busy. One of the biggest enemies to you is comparison. And my kids, only hearing this growing up, is that we do not live by comparison. I don't care about your family situation. And what I mean by that is just because Bobby and Sally over here to the left have a kid that's 8, that's a rocket scientist, that's going part-time to Yale while holding a Bible study. That's not your kid. Guess what? They may be broke down on the side of the road somewhere and have a whole lot of knowledge about how to change it. They don't know how to do it. But you do. Get your phone over there and change their fire. Get busy. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Worry about yourself and your household. God gave you a home. His will on earth as it is in heaven for you. Get yourself busy and do how to do what you're supposed to. Stop worrying about what's going on around you and stop chasing those people around you. God, we're horrible about that as a society. You see a nice new car, the new house, with this and that and the other, you start chasing it. That's what we want. We're going after that. Well, if you're chasing that, how are you looking up? You worry about this over here. Look up. That's all I'm taking. That's all I'm taking. And then find an accountability partner that is not your wife. I'm talking about another man or another group of men that you can be accountable to. Give them permission to kick your butt. Give them permission to step in and go, "What the heck are you doing? You said you quit that. What are you doing?" Give them permission to do that. Right? And give them a series of questions to ask you. Give them 4 questions. And whenever they talk to you, not random, that's a target and go, "Hey man, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this?" If somebody starts asking you those questions on the regular, and you start doing something, you're either going to lie to them, or you're just got it out there. One of the two. That's up to you. So you may have not had a good first start to the first half of the game, is what I'm saying, before today is what I'm talking about. So what lies ahead of you when you walk out these doors today is the second half. So consider what I'm about to read to you as your halftime talk. okay, before you go back out onto the football field. And it's one of those things that I listened to a man read this, and I can't believe it. Like, you know, I almost did a video, but I was like, no, I'm going to read it. This is a speech by Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt wrote a speech called The Man in the Arena. So, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or when the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose faith is marked with blood and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. But there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows that at the end of the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor